All right, so now that we have all of our packages, let's import them so that we can get started. So for this, we're gonna need a number of things. First, let's load our env variable. So we're gonna do .env import load.env, and just so I don't forget, load.env. Now we have access to our API keys. Sweet. Now we're going to import our Pinecone vector store. We're going to import our embeddings. We're going to import some document loaders, and we're going to import a text splitter. This is all going to make sense when I put it all together. So from Langchain, chain, OpenAI, import OpenAI embeddings. And then we're going to import our Pinecone vector store from Langchain Pinecone import Pinecone vector store. Now we're going to import some document loaders. We're going to import our text loader for now from Langchain underscore community dot document loaders import text loader, and then we're going to import our text splitter from Langchain text splitters import character text splitter. Okay, that was a lot of stuff. So now what I'm going to do is specify the index name and embeddings model that we'll use to turn our prompt into a vector that we can use to query Pinecone. So let's set our index name, and I believe I called it child development research. Yep, that's what I called it. And then we're going to call our embedding model. So our embeddings equals OpenAI embeddings, and we're going to pass in our model, and we said it was going to be text embedding 3 small. Okay, so now we're going to load up the documents and we're going to split them into chunks so that we can upload them into Pinecone. So we're going to start with the text loader just so you can see how this works. So we're going to create a loader, text loader, and let's say I only wanted one of these docs. Let's do this one, child brain development.txt. So now you're going to pass in the relative path. So it's going to be docs, because it's under the docs directory, / child brain development.txt. And then we're going to load up the documents. Document equals loader dot load. All right. Now I know what you're thinking. Why are we just doing one? Why can't we do all of them? Well, we can do all of them, and that's exactly what we're going to do. I showed you the simple way so that this way will make a lot more sense. So we're going to import the directory loader, and instead of doing this text loader, what we're going to do is we're going to do a directory loader. We're going to pass in the path to the directory, and then we're going to create what's called a pattern matcher. It'll look something like this, .txt, and this is basically saying just grab all the txt files in this directory, and then we have to specify which loader we want to use. So loader class equals text loader. That'll tell us which loader to use when we load each of these text files. All right, so now we split the text in order to make these vectors smaller and more manageable, and we get smaller context back, which will make our API calls much cheaper. So we're going to do text splitter equals character text splitter, and we want a size of 1,000. Chunk size equals 1,000, and then we don't want any overlap to happen, so we're just going to do chunk overlap equals 0. And now we're going to run this text splitter on all of our documents. So that's going to be docs equals text splitter dot split documents, and we're going to pass in our documents, which we had loaded right here. All right, now the final step is to create our vector store from our docs. And that's going to look like this. Vector store from docs equals Pinecone vector store dot from documents. And we're going to pass in our docs, our index name equals index name, and then we're going to pass in our embedding model, so embedding equals embeddings. Okay, so right now our vector store is empty, but once we run this code, it will no longer be empty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run Python 3, and we're going to run our create index.py file. So create index.py, and if everything works, we should see some vectors in our database. And as you can see here, our documents have made it into our vector database. So look, we have all these little chunks of text, and whenever we pass a prompt in, this vector database is going to look for the chunks that seem to be most relevant to the prompt that you pass in. Look at all of these vectors that we made.